All right. Falcons-Saints. Saints favored by 13. Over-unders 59.5. They played in week 3. The Saints won 43-37 in overtime. They had 534 yards of offense against them. Calvin Ridley blew up 7 for 146, 3 touchdowns. So the Saints have scored 144 points in their last 3 games. 5 of their last 6 have been by double digits. They have been not just winning, they've been blowing people out. At some point, obviously that train needs to stop, but when does it stop? Like this, I look at this, it's another one. I look at it and I go, it's a lot of points, but I feel like I've been saying that about the Saints for a few weeks and they keep just killing people.
Falcons are a terrible team. Whatever happened in Washington 2 weeks ago, it's a complete anomaly. Because after the Washington win, what was it, 38-17, something like that? I mean, they posted some points on a banged-up Washington team that doesn't have a lot of offense to keep pace with the Falcons. And this goes back to your your theory. Stuff happens, and that was a stuff happens game because Atlanta then goes to Cleveland, and Nick Chubb rushes 20 times for 176 yards, estimate. And then they come back, and Ezekiel Elliott is the leading receiver. Not only the leading rusher, but the leading receiver for the Cowboys, because even though the Falcons are getting healthier, they can't stop running backs. And who do they get this week? Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara caught 4,000 passes for 150 yards the first time they met. They didn't have to face Ingram. That two-headed monster is wreaking havoc on other teams. Falcons can't stop running backs. I mean, New Orleans is just in such a groove right now that I don't even think a division rival can rattle them right now. There's just, if they go out, and I know the Eagles secondary was banged up, but you hold the Eagles to 7 points. Forget the offense. You hold, so that defense is just on another level. So when you look back at week 3, that's a different time and place. That might as well be 5 years ago, because the Saints defense over the last, I looked it up, since the Saints played the Falcons in week 3, the Saints defense has allowed 19.3 points per game.
Okay.
19.3.
Yeah.
So, and they're going to score 40 points on the Falcons because they can't stop Ingram and Kamara because their defense is terrible.
Yep. All right. I don't know.
Saints by 17.
Really? I don't know what to do. I think I'm taking the Falcons. And I feel like it's one of those things that I'm not learning from mistakes. I made mistakes the last few weeks, and I'm going down the same road of the big spread.
I mean, I just don't see where do the Falcons cover? I mean, if the Saints defense would have to regress to the mean all of a sudden for them to cover the 13, because the Falcons are not going to be able to stop the Saints.
Yeah.
So it's all on the Saints defense to cover that 13 completely. Or Drew Brees with only one turnover 11 weeks into the season would have to have a tipped pass go the wrong way. But he's so precise, I just don't see that happening. There would have to be a turnover type mentality. But the Falcons just they see for what and the other thing is the Falcons were held to field goals in that first half against the Cowboys on their home turf. Now they have to go to New Orleans. Like, there's just so many things going against. And again, this is what happens in the NFL, where you go completely to one side, and then, again, water reaches its level and it comes back. But the Saints are bucking that trend, and the Falcons are going the opposite direction at lightning quick speed, where they can't even beat the Cowboys on their home field. Really?
I know.
You're settling for Matt Bryant field goals when you have Julio Jones, Mohamed Sanu, Tevin Coleman, Calvin. Like, you have all these weapons. You're settling for field goals?
Right now, I'm going Falcons against the spread. I might change fair warning, I might change my mind before Thursday.